Anglers Extra.
The Chatham Anglers and the Y-D Red Sox meet up at 5 p.m. as we move along the Anglers Extra pregame show. Our catch of the day is team athletic trainer Dan O'Keefe. And Dan, how many years have you been working with the Chatham A's?
This is my third year here with Chatham.
And take me through your career and how do you land a gig like this?
Well, it was funny. It was all really on a whim, to be honest with you. I was in my senior year of athletic training school, and my head trainer at Georgia College and State University knew that I was looking to come to Cape Cod, and just so happened to get an ad from a fellow trainer who was looking for an athletic trainer for the Chatham A's. So he let me know about it, and I put in an application, which ended up being with Colleen Nolan, who's our other athletic trainer this year, and did a couple phone interviews, and she brought me to Cape Cod.
So do you have another job then as well? Do you have to work two jobs here?
Yeah, actually, after that first summer here with Chatham, I started working full-time with Falmouth Hospital as an athletic trainer in outpatient rehab. So I work in the physical therapy department with Falmouth Hospital.
Now, what kind of toll can the hours take on you? Because hours for someone like you can be tough if you work all day and then you have to come to the ballpark as well.
Yeah, it really can be. This year has been the worst. Luckily, in the past, my boss at the hospital was gracious enough to tie the Chatham A's in with my full-time work at the hospital, so I was really still only averaging about 40 hours a week. Unfortunately, this year our load's a little heavier in physical therapy, so I am working there full-time, and I'm doing this in the afternoons. But like I said, Colleen Nolan was able to come back, and she and I are actually splitting the games this year. So it's not too tough. I mean, I have some long days, but it's nice to get home to the wife a couple times a week at least.
What kind of hours are we looking at then if you're working, say, a full day at work and then you come here to the Chatham Anglers game?
Well, on a typical day, we're only spending 4 or 5 hours here on the baseball field. That doesn't count the 13-inning games that we have. So it's really just luck of the draw. Sometimes we get out here, we play a 2.5-hour game, and, that's fantastic. I'm not working too many hours in a day, but, you do get the occasional 13, 14-hour day. So, it's just, like I said, it's just luck of the draw.
Now, describe your primary responsibilities with the Chatham Anglers, beginning when you come here, and when do you usually come here, and what do you do pregame and then during the game as well?
Okay. Well, luckily, this year we brought in Joe, which is fantastic. Joe's a personal trainer, and he's great at getting the guys warmed up, ready to go, which is, honestly a huge in injury prevention, which is my number one goal here is, if we can prevent it, that's 100 times better than fixing it, From that point, obviously there are going to be certain duties beyond that as far as treating the injuries that we do have. I mean, it's inevitable you're going to have injuries, especially here in summer ball where the guys are playing, 14, 16 days in a row. And it's just management. If we can keep things under control, treat it, so that it doesn't exacerbate, then, we've done a good job. Unfortunately, there is, rare circumstance where we got to send a guy home, but, that's what happens where, they're used to playing a certain schedule at school, and then they come out here, and like I said, they're playing every single day, and things they didn't even know they had start to show up. So, my goal here on the baseball field every day is just to keep things under control, keep things from worsening, and, keep the guys on the baseball field.
Yeah, you had two guys already that have had to go home for the Chatham Anglers, Pete Verdon and Steven Perez. Now, do you assist in that kind of decision?
Yeah, most of the time I do. Unfortunately, this year, in a certain circumstance, I mean, it's black and white, whether they go home or they don't. In the past years, there's been, it's kind of the gray area in between where, they could stay, but is it really best for the athlete? And, in this circumstance, a lot of times it's not. If they're already hurt and they're worn out, you don't want to keep them out here playing baseball every day. A lot of these guys have a long career ahead of them, and it's summer ball. They come out here, to get their name out there, hopefully see some scouts. But when it comes to that point, it's better to send them home, to their own trainer, to their own facilities, get them worked on, do some rehab if they need to do that, so they can continue strong in fall baseball.
Talking with Dan O'Keefe, athletic trainer for the Chatham Anglers. Now, give me one of your craziest stories or wackiest injuries that you've had to deal with here on the Cape.
Well, it's funny. 2 years ago, I think was my worst so far. Luckily, since then, it's been pretty low key. Knock on wood, we like to keep it that way. But it just so happened to be here at Y-D. One of our guys squared up to bunt, foul tipped it straight into his mouth. A couple teeth were loose, a couple teeth went through the gums, blood everywhere. It wasn't pretty, but it's not always as bad as it seems to be in the beginning. So we got everything under control. After about 9 hours in the ER at the hospital, I drove him home and watched the sun come up, and then we were back on the baseball field early afternoon the next day. So that's the way baseball goes. It's summer ball, you do what you got to do, and you get back out here the next day.
Now, when a guy gets injured on the field and you run out to tend to him, what's one of the first things you do, or does it depend on the injury?
It really depends. Sometimes what happened. Sometimes just the angle or, whatever it is, you don't know exactly what happened. So, if it's blatant, you run out there and you just go to work. If for whatever reason, you can't really tell what it is that's bothering them. Maybe it's a knee or an ankle. You can tell there's something going on, but you don't know exactly what it is. You just get out there, figure out the situation, assess the severity, and, then you just start your evaluation of whether or not they should still be out there, or, you replace them and give them a rest for the rest of the day.
Now, you've been here for a few years, and you've seen some up and down seasons. Last year was one of them with the Chatham Anglers, and this year a similar thing. What do you think for the rest of the season in terms of, based on your experiences here, how the team will finish out, especially being that there's so many games coming up, these crazy doubleheaders?
Well, what they say is Chatham's always ready to go home last. Obviously all these guys play a long summer of baseball, and they're ready to get back home to their families and their girlfriends and that type of thing. But, in Chatham, they get treated pretty well. So we always seem to be ready to go home last. And, I hope that holds true. We're on a five-game win streak now. So, if these guys can hold it together for another week or so, then I think our chances are pretty good.
Yeah, and if the Chatham Anglers are able to take down the Y-D Red Sox, that would certainly be a good sign. Y-D, the hottest team and first place in the Cape League. Dan, thanks for speaking with me.
Absolutely, thanks.
That's Dan O'Keefe, athletic trainer for the Chatham Anglers. Our catch of the day, I'm Scott Braun on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Go Anglers!